A dream tells me to get away from you, not because you are going to hurt me, nor either do I. The only reason, according to the dream, is that it is where I must go. A dream tells me to get away from you, even if the comfort of following my willpower doesn't like it, even if nothing, nor the wind, tells me to get away from you. A dream tells me to get away from you. That is to say that it is necessary, not to say forced, to get away from you. Why? One of your uncorporeal voices asks. But you already know the answer. A dream tells me to get away from you. A dream tells me to get away. Yes, 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 yes. It is January 13th. We spoke yesterday. I don't know how much we have been able to take hold of all that we shared. Messages diluted by dissonant magma. A shadow that covers everything, or almost everything. In fact, it doesn't matter. We are here. We are really here. We never stop being crowded. It seems that I have no intentions, therefore, to move away from you, or to cause you to move away from me, much less to give you a weight that does not correspond to you, or to tie yourself to my body or my prisons. I have to pull all my effort, clarity and integration into it, and stay in my center and not leaving it, neither for an emotionality, nor for any transformation or change, nor for any fear or insecurity. I will dedicate myself to life as if you did not exist, knowing that this is impossible, and that therefore I will not attempt to reduce the reality contained in you to any fiction that I can create, since everything will be in reality fiction, and thus all my approach towards you will be real. Everything has to remain as fiction, everything has to remain virtual, in order to never stop being real. Because the greatest power of reality is fictitious, and not for that less real, but quite the opposite. To pretend that you don't exist, to pretend that I don't feel anything for you, to pretend you are a fiction, one fiction of so many, so always you can be real to myself, always being real because you don't exist. Which kind of imagination and which kind of symbolism is one who can subdue the real in something that doesn't really exist? The real thing runs away from the symbolic and the imaginary, and of desire itself as an unconscious knowing. Yes, you don't exist. 7. And no. It is not a reflection what I feel. The reflection appears when you exist, when I think that you really exist, and then I must subject you to my imagination, to my madness, to my tragedy, to my accident. What I feel is not a reflection of anything, because it's completely thoughtless, because you don't exist. There is nothing where I can come from. There is no existence to build on my feeling, so that this could be a mere reflection. Not to exist is the same as to be free. And of course, you are free, 7, and I celebrate it, and I will defend it until death. That's why when you tell yourself that I, another 7, I don't want you free, please tell yourself No. Tell yourself that I do love you and I want you always free, schizophrenic, expanded, mystical, and aberrant. I have not really existed either, thus, for you. You who have been trying to be authentically real at all times. A few steps forward, other steps behind, to always be late, to realize that you always will be late, that you don't exist, and that it's fine like this. To be in a strategic dispersion, so we don't get lost within this daily catastrophe that forces us to feel captured. Sometimes to spread things can keep them together. Everything has been forever fragmentary. When I met you, all that happened never really happened. At times, I thought so, that what had happened actually happened, but to tell the truth, all those moments, I still thought it had never happened. Nothing. The key here, the secret here, is to say this. That never happened and therefore does not exist. That is to say that this continues to happen and it must always remain thus in eternity. This is the paradox, the irrational logic, the maximum expression of thought and existence. The mantra arises, you don't exist. The non-existence is just a song of love that is sung absent-mindedly in the darkest darkness. And the mantra is repeated. You, the symbolic imaginary seven that I see is not real. That is, that you don't exist. You, the real seven that only exists in the very absence of the symbolic imaginary seven. Yes, you do exist, and that is the only thing that exists in the flows and actuals. This is completely aberrant. 7. I have removed your mask. Now I know you're a ghost who visits me almost every night, and it's beautiful and fun, but if you don't come back, nothing will stop being beautiful and fun. Only what happens will happen when a ghost stops visiting you. Tranquility, silence, harmony. Everything has to remain as fiction, an agent of change and not of stability. Transience, impermanence, renewal. So I will call you by your name, although here I have changed it to 7. Here, calling you 7 will be calling you by your name due to anti-romantic and mimetic effects. And you will always be that name to me. And in that name there will be contained all the names in the world. And if you fall asleep before me, it will no longer be me in you or you in me. And if you fall asleep in the illusion that you see in me, it will no longer be me in you nor you in me. And if my only fear, which is merely subjective, is carried out, that is no longer having a chance to relate to the real, that is symbolic, imaginary, historical side, the ghost has won the battle. The subjectivity that I am will be saddened, but the infinity that I am won't, and on the contrary, it will say, if so, be it, and I will sing it. Dear 7, you are enrolled in my memory and in my heart. Thank you, and welcome.
Festival.